to my channel, before I get into my video, I just want to let you guys know that this is going to be recapping on the season 8 premiere of Game of Thrones of last night's episode. So there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of the Game of Thrones or you haven't yet watched the season premiere, don't watch the video. But don't forget to click the video once you've seen the season 8 premiere. Getting into what happened last night. I can't believe it. It was so good. I was so excited. There was so much to talk about and I had to write them all on down my phone. Started off with Daenerys and Jon Snow coming into Winterfell, and that was a huge deal because, as you know from season 7, there was a lot of disagreement with, Jon bending the knee to Daenerys, in order to fight the White Walkers. So finally he bent the knee to the queen and brought everybody to Winterfell. And I mean, Sansa was not happy that he brought Queen Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, to Winterfell. So she was a little bit upset that she came along. Basically, the dragons were like flying over Winterfell and everyone was in shock to see that the dragons were there, because for so long it's been a myth that dragons did exist, and then now that they actually are in Winterfell and people are seeing these dragons, it was a huge deal and it was a huge moment. Really like excitement, because you had seen all these characters in their separate elements of like parts of Westeros, and then now they're actually all coming together and all in one spot, and to actually see Daenerys and Jon and Sansa and Arya and Bran all together in one spot, it was a very heartfelt moment, and I was just so excited about it. The next big episode, big thing that happened on the episode was when Sam told Jon who his biological parents are. That just brought goosebumps to my whole body, because we all kind of speculated like who was actually Jon Snow, and we all kind of went online and tried to listen to like other people's fan theories of who Jon Snow actually is. But when they released who he actually was, that he is the true king of the Seven Kingdoms, and just his face alone says exactly what we were all thinking, like, what the, basically. That's how his face was what we were thinking like last season when it was released of who he was. So just to recap, Jon Snow's father, biological father, is actually Daenerys's brother, and Jon Snow's mother is actually Ned Stark's sister. Ned Stark's sister. So he is a combination of Targaryen and Stark blood. So technically he is the true king of the Seven Kingdoms, and it'll be interesting to see how they play off of the idea of him being this true king of the Seven Kingdoms, and whether or not he's gonna ever tell Daenerys, or if he does tell Daenerys that he is actually the king of everyone. How is she gonna feel? Like, this woman has so much power in all of Westeros, and she is the mother of dragons. I don't know how she would feel. She'd probably feel really crappy, and I think kind of pissed, because hey, even like she's in love with him, he's in love with her, and all of a sudden they find out that they're actually aunt and nephew. Like, it's gonna be crazy. So the next scene that I'm gonna talk about, which was huge beyond belief, was when Jon Snow was riding the dragon. And the dragon that Jon Snow ended up riding on was named after his father. And I think the pivotal moment for me was that No one other than Daenerys rides these dragons. And the fact that the dragon let Jon Snow, especially the one that was named after his father, was a huge moment in the episode. And I think I was like, again, I was just so excited about it. And I was kind of like, oh my God, is the dragon gonna eat Jon Snow? And especially when Daenerys was like, oh, well, it was nice getting to know you then, Jon Snow. And I was like, oh my God, like the dragon's gonna eat Jon Snow, or he's gonna burn him, or he's gonna snap at him or whatever. But the fact that the dragon let him climb on him and ride him, that was just, it was such an amazing scene. Another episode that happened earlier on was when Jon Snow and Daenerys actually come into Winterfell, and Jon sees Bran for the first time since he's left in season 1, and he runs over to Bran and basically says, oh, you're like a man now. And Bran says, well, almost. And I kind of laughed at that part just because this whole series, like the Game of Thrones series has been going on for 8 years. So of course, if you're filming when you're like 8, you're gonna be basically a man by the time the series are done. So I kind of laughed at that part. And then after I thought about it, and I was like, okay, what does he actually mean when he says almost? Does it mean like, or not yet? Does he mean like he's still the three-eyed raven and he's not a man? He's still a spirit of some sort? So I really got me thinking of like, what did Bran actually mean when he said like, not yet? You know, because Bran is not really himself. He doesn't really think of himself as a brother or even as a person. He's like a three-eyed raven who sees the past, present, and future. And another like part of the episode is when Bran says to Sam, well, you have to tell Jon Snow who he is because I'm waiting for a friend of mine. And then at the end of the episode is when the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister, comes into Winterfell and takes a look at Bran, and that's when the episode stops. I was like, oh, they can't do this to me. But you know, what will happen next after Bran and Jaime have seen each other after so long? And you know, remember in season 1 when Jaime was doing the naughty stuff with his sister, and Bran caught them doing it, and then Jaime pushed him out of the tower, and that's how he became paralyzed. Like, what's gonna happen next, right? Like, what is their dialogue gonna be about? Like, just to end off this video, I gave this episode 2 thumbs up because it just was exciting. It's been 2 years since Game of Thrones aired back on TV, and I just could not be happier with the whole episode and what was released and how they did it. It's been so great. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on who would be at the end on the Iron Throne, and my bet is on Bran, because there have been some speculations of the fan theories that Bran looks like the Night King. And I believe it because, you know, Bran could be living his life through the Night King and all of a sudden is building his army to take over Westeros. Like, Bran looks like the Night King. Then Bran is building his army to take over Westeros. It could happen. So I'm putting my money on Bran as being the king on the Iron Throne as the Night King, but I'm also betting on Daenerys and Jon Snow being on there because that's like the safe bet of who could be on the Iron Throne. But I have a feeling George R. Martin and all the writers of the Game of Thrones series are gonna throw everybody off, and they're gonna put somebody that just we had no idea could be part of this whole fan theory or theory that could be on the Iron Throne. So, you know, who knows? Anything is possible. To like this video and subscribe to my channel, and hey, shoot me a comment down below. If you want to chat more about, you know, your ideas on who could be at the end, who could get killed off, who could be on the Iron Throne at the end, don't forget to shoot me a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.